Hey everybody, I'm Krista. If you are new here, welcome. This may not be the video that you want to be new here on. I just want to touch base really quick because I put out a community post and I've got a couple videos in processing and I'm going to try to get one of them out, but I thought this would be a quick way because I can just record it and talk and I don't have to do a lot of editing to it. To touch base with everybody before Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has an amazing Thanksgiving. But it is Monday, the week of Thanksgiving. And if you follow me on Instagram, you may know that we had a small turkey flock. We try to raise up some Thanksgiving turkeys every year and we sell a few. But this year, about, I want to say 2 weeks ago, the turkeys were all within a few days of being ready to go, and it was completely my fault. They hang out back here with the goats in the goat fence to keep them safe, and I did not realize how much of a protection that the goats actually were. We've had a fox problem around here, so I have not been able to free range my chickens and turkeys when I'm not out here. So I come out in the evenings for a few hours, especially during like gardening season. I would come out and let them out and I would go putter around in the garden so they could have some free range time. I mean, they have big areas, but during the day, the turkeys would be in the goat fence with them in the goat pasture. Well, I cannot feed the turkeys their feed to plump them up with the goats in there because the goats cannot eat chicken feed. Chicken feed is actually detrimental to goats. It will bloat them and they can actually die from the bloat. So they eat, you know, whole oats and corn and some of the goat feed because they can have all of that with the goats in there. So I've been, as they got to the end stages, what I would do is I would take the goats out in the morning, feed them outside, shut the barn door and feed the turkeys inside and come back out in an hour and let the turkeys out. Well, we had to go somewhere and I decided to move all the girls into the middle paddock and let the turkeys have the front paddock by closest to the barn for themselves, and then I could put out, you know, quite a bit of feed. And so I did that and we left and came home to an absolute massacre. The fox or coyote or whatever it is, I've seen a fox, but I don't know if a fox did this much damage, but it got into the pasture with the turkeys and just mutilated all of them. There was 3 left. One was kind of injured a little bit, but not to the point of risk of dying or anything, just kind of beat up. And it was all hens, and so they're on the smaller side. And so what we did is I may have cried a lot because even though these birds were destined to be food, I still care for them and try to give them the best, most stress-free life that they have while they're here. And that was just an absolutely horrible way to go because you could tell based on where the bodies were, how some of them were died. One of them was gone completely. It had been dragged through the cattle panel fence. Like it was a massacre. It was awful. And I had so much regret and so much guilt and just, I mean, I cried. Like, I will admit it, I cried because that's not how, even though we lost all the money and all the food and the sales and all of that, it was more about the horrible trauma that they experienced. And the 3 that we had left, they were traumatized for days, like days. You could tell by the way they were acting. So I've never taken the goats out again. So what we did is for those 3 that were left, because they were smaller hens, we decided to let them go all the way to Thanksgiving week because we don't have enough to sell. That's the, you know, our family, my parents and sister's family, they share one turkey on Thanksgiving. Our family has a turkey on Thanksgiving. And then our neighbor, who usually helps us process them, we have one for them. So that was the 3 that were left. So we decided just to wait till Thanksgiving week to process them. And so we were going to do it tomorrow night, Tuesday night, but we have like a 97% chance of rain. So I am out here. My husband is working, and he works from home, but he has to be in his office. So he is working, and I am out here at the barn, and you might can see them. My husband did come out and take the heads off for me because I don't like doing that part. So they're hanging right now, and I didn't set up a big, you know, station like we do normally when we're processing. We normally have it like all set out and everything, and I didn't do that. We can't use our plucker for the turkeys because they're too big for it. And I'm not getting out. We have a hand plucker for the turkeys that goes on a drill that you can. I'm not doing all that for 3 turkeys. So the only thing I have set out right now, and I can actually show you. I have my stainless steel prep table, and I did Clorox it and clean it really good, so it's ready to go. I have my wagon. I'm sorry, I'm gonna try to not show the heads that are in there. I have the wagon, and what I do is any of the innards and stuff, and feathers, whatever, I just rake right into the wagon, and then we can take it over there to a compost pile over there. We have the large, it's like 85 quart stock pot or something like that. It's like the biggest one they have that we could find at a sports store, and it's perfect for our turkeys. Excuse our junk. It's time that's my fire pit that we keep out here at the barn for when we're processing and in the winter and it's really cold. We can warm our hands up and stuff. And it is chilly this morning, but the sun is coming up, so it's getting a lot better. But I wouldn't risk doing the fire right now because we're in a burn ban. It's so dry, and we have a lot of leaves on the ground and stuff, so I don't even like doing the propane thing out here right now. But I'm definitely not doing the fire pit. So anyway, so this is where I will dunk them and loosen the feathers. And then I'm going to try to not show you the hanging birds because I know some people are squeamish. And then we have a nail right here right here. I will hang each one individually up there. And then I will just, with gloves on, rake the feathers out and pluck them by hand. Let's not show the birds. And then we have this large horse trough that we do not use for horses. We did a long time ago, but it has since been completely Cloroxed and clean, and it is only used for processing birds now. So after I pluck them, they will go in. If we've got the water ready, they will go in here, and then I will move them over to the prep table. So Station 1 is the head removal. We do not hang them and slit their throats. We take the head completely off. That is the way we prefer to do it. They're very calm. And some people have asked us about that because, you know, they're like, does it taint the meat, blah, blah, blah. And no, it does not. We actually use this right here. And this is almost chest level for me. My husband's very tall, and so it works really well for him. And you put the bird's head between the 2 nails, and then he holds the feet and goes up like this. So, and they're really, when they go into this, I hand them out of the barn. I'll give you something to look at. Okay. Is that better? I'm trying to stay in the shade. So, I'm sure you didn't want to look at a log forever, but I get them in the barn, and, you know, we feed them pretty evenly. Steven feeds them a lot at night because I'm taking the kids to dance and things like that. But I feed them every morning, and then I feed them sometimes at night too. So I feed them about, you know, half the nights. Anyway, so they're used to us. So I go in and I catch and I hand to Steven. And when I hand them off, he takes them by the neck and the feet and puts them directly onto the nails and pulls their feet up. So it's kind of like having them in the cone, but they get, you know, very still, and I'm very calm with them. And so they don't experience a lot of fear and trauma. So I'm not sure where people are getting that the meat is tainted or from the fear reflex or something when you take the heads off. We've never had that issue. Like, our meat is amazing. And that's not from us. That's from people who have purchased, who, you know, we've given meat to. They, you know, they say it's phenomenal. So I don't know if it's just the way we do it, because it is partially like putting them in the cones, because we do, you know, put them. Have you ever seen the videos where they like draw the line and the rooster or whatever is like perfectly still and focused and they zone out? It's almost like that. You put them between their heads, between those two nails, and then you lift the feet up and they go into that relaxed mode, just like being in a cone or drawing the line. And so that's what we do. I catch them, I hand them to him, he takes the head off, and then we hang them on, you can kind of see the white one, but we have a line all the way down the front of our pole barn, and we hang them to drain on that line. And there's like a little ditch that he dug out underneath, so because it's on a hill, so it all drains towards the woods, towards the compost pile. And so we hang them, we let them drain. I'm letting my water come up to heat, because that thing does take a long time, even on high. Like, it takes a long time to get that much water to heat. So that's what I'm doing right now. He did come do the heads and he went back in. So I have my table scrubbed, I have the water trough full, and I'm waiting on the water. And then I will dip them, get the feathers loose. I'll hang them on the side of the barn just so they're stable, because if you try to do it where they're hanging on the line, then they twist and move, and it makes it more difficult. And so putting them up against the barn wall gives me stability, and I can literally just like rake out the feathers. Doesn't take long. And then I'll put them in the water trough till I'm all done with the feathers, which will allow them to further cool down. And then I'll put them on the stainless steel prep table and I will process them. And then they go, I have my truck out here, and I have a cooler with ice in the back of the truck sitting on the tailgate. They'll go directly into that. And then we have refrigerators in our basement, and because there's only 3 of them, I have enough room in those. They will go into the refrigerators for 24 hours. And then that puts them Tuesday, tomorrow, and I will put them, or I will put ours in a brine. And Wednesday morning, I'm taking the other to deliver up to my family for their Thanksgiving. So, yeah, so I mean, super simple process with only 3 turkeys, you know, and it's just me. I didn't have to try to get out, you know, the extra equipment and the extra stuff and, you know, make a production about it. It's just me and my hose, basically, some hot water, and a table. So, and then I'll clean it all up. But that is about as fresh as you can get. So if you are worried, like you think you have to have an expensive plucker and you think you have to have, you know, all these tools and things like that, if you just want to raise some meat for you, turkeys are really easy, and they really only get annoying like the past couple weeks when the broad-breasted are just like food obsessed and they just want to eat because they've gotten so big, they need more food. And so they're a little annoying, but they're very sweet animals. They're fun to watch, and they're not that hard to handle and mess with. And literally all you need is a water hose and a big pot that you can heat water on. That is the bare minimum that you would need to raise up your own chickens and turkeys. Now, if you are doing more than a few, then yeah, a plucker is going to be your friend. So when we do chickens, I don't think we've ever done less than 15 chickens at a time. So it's worth getting out our plucker. We have a small plucker. It's about $500 on Amazon. They may have gone up. We've had ours several years. I think I got it for $450 at the time. I think they have gone up, but I don't think they're more than $600 now. So if you're, you know, doing batches of 15 a few times a year to keep your freezer stocked for your family, then yeah, it's worth it. We do close to 200 birds a year, chickens. So having the plucker makes sense for us, and we've been doing this for 4 years. So that makes sense for us. Our turkeys do not fit in our plucker. That's the only downside of the size that we have. So, but the only year that we really had an issue was when we had like 48 turkeys, because a farmer gifted us like 40 some turkeys. And that we found that was a bit much to hand pluck. But up to 10 turkeys, it's not that bad, especially if you have like 3 people. It's really not that bad. The feathers come out really easy when the birds are that big. The turkey feathers are super easy to come out. So, yeah, so if you're looking or thinking about doing your own birds, turkeys are not a bad way to go, because they do pluck easily. You get a lot of meat for the birds, and you only have to do a couple to get quite a bit of meat for a while. So that is my PSA for Thanksgiving, is how to raise up and process your own turkeys, keeping it bare minimum and simple, and not feeling like there is a ton of pressure to have all the gadgets and to have all the stuff when you go to some of these homesteading classes and they have these huge pluckers. They're amazing. These $2,000 pluckers on the stands, they're amazing, but you do not have to have it. We're raising them up here, and I'll show you the paddocks. Let me turn this around. Sorry, I have a chain right here. I don't have my, what do you call it? Microphone. I don't have my tripod. I was just killing time waiting for water to heat up and was like, oh, let me kind of talk to people. But they stay out here with the goats. Here's the barn. They're in that stall right there at night with the goats, and they come out here to the paddocks, and you can see we have separate paddocks, and our goats get out too, because they're super awesome, and we can just let them out and they just hang out in the yard. But so they get out and have quite a bit of room, and then we have wooded areas that they can roam in. But yeah, so that's how we raise turkeys and chickens. And you might can see some of our chickens. Let's see, they're kind of hanging out in the stall right there. Yeah, they're right there. So you can see, like, meat chickens are funny because they can come out, they can get out here, they can even go through the fence. We have chicken wire up along here on the bottom, but it only goes, I don't know if you can see it, it only goes, there it is, it only goes part way up, so they can't get out, but they can go through to the other paddocks through, because there's not chicken wire there, just on the outside. But because we do Cornish cross rock, or Cornish rock cross, where are they? There they are. They don't move around a whole lot, so they don't go far. And I don't know why they're like all in the corner right now. But, you know, sometimes they'll come out here and lay, or go up under the steps and lay. But they don't range far. So when you're talking, you are a brat. When you're talking about free range chickens, especially, you know, if it's Cornish cross, why are you eating my hair? They're not ranging, y'all. They're doing that right there. That is what they're doing. And that is all they're doing. They might come out 10 feet, 15 feet, peck around and do it in the sun. But that's it. Even my goats are lazy right now. Maybe it's just this time of day. But anyway, that is it for today. That is how to process turkeys in a nutshell, without being graphic and without showing it, because I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's not YouTube's cup of tea. But I wanted to kind of give you a basic rundown on how you could handle just a couple birds, if that's what you have room for and what you want to start with and try, because it's not a big investment in equipment. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.